going back. I really want you to go into the hypogeum, is it called there? The acoustic one that's amplifies sound. But have you heard the rumor or the legend that a school bus full of children disappeared there, and there was like the elongated headed people that shrieked or something like that? Gives the creeps.
I've got a question too. Does malted milk come from Malta?
Sorry?
Does malted milk come from Malta?
I don't know, mate. I ain't got a clue. Malta, actually, the original name for Malta is Melita, and Melita means honey. So, honey, it means.
It sounds like honey. Wow. And it's also a milk. So it's the land of milk and honey. Oh my God, we've worked it out.
Milk and honey.
Land of Eden. Yeah.
So this right here is the map of old Malta, right? The Star Citadel and City and main part. How big is the island compared to the rest of this area, and how much of this area, in your opinion, was the foundation geopolymer, or from like the most advanced pre-cataclysm society or age compared to the rest of it, do you suspect?
Right, so this segment that you're looking at now is literally probably about 1/15 of the island, and it's the capital, which is in the middle, the bit sticking down, and Floriana just above that, which is the city or the town there I lived. And on the right-hand side of that is a place called Manuel Island, which is a starfort on an island. And on the left of that is the three cities, which is three massive star cities, basically. And going back to what I said to Cam earlier, when you walk around these places, the base of these are all poured geopolymer, massive megalithic structures. And then the next layer, and you can see, when you walk along around there, you can see that it's all been chopped down level, like you can literally see it. And then on top of that, they've put the block work. And then on top of that one, you've got the most modern block work on top of that. But that starfort in the middle in Valletta, if you can see that middle one, that actually is so big that it goes through to the next town. And what they've done is they've broke that starfort into two towns, which one city, which is Valletta, and then obviously Floriana above that. And another thing about Valletta, that goes 5 stories deep till you're down at sea level. So you've got this massive limestone structure, and then on top of that, they built a city. But people don't realise that when you're standing in a city, that you've got 5 levels of like it's literally like a municipal
God knows what that's below you.
Yeah, well, you've got chambers, you've got doors, you've got dwellings. You got everything down there, man.
Do you think it was built pre-flood? Like, do you think that like what we're looking at is a post-flood picture?
This like picture is 1694, I think. This map is 1694.
Right,
and all them buildings.
That's what they dated. But it's like, could all of these like star maps that are from the 1500s? Is it possible they redated them and that they could actually be like a couple thousand years older than instead of 500 sort of thing?
Sure.
Very good point, Burn. Right, basically, when I was doing my research in Malta and I was walking around, I come across a statue in Floriana of a guy who apparently built the starforts, right? And the guy is called something de Vilhena. I can't remember his first name. I just remember de Vilhena. And it says on his statue, right underneath it, it says that this guy added to existing fortifications, meaning, and that was in the 1500s, meaning that the stuff was already there.
Yeah.
Right, and like
that's what it looks like, and they've just put the extra walls on top and the smaller houses and stuff.
Yeah.
But you show that the foundation is essentially the biggest build of all. Like that foundation is 5 stories deep, essentially, so that if it was already documented as being there, that whatever was there is actually a massive prior rune prior build, and that it's those other layers you're saying of the blocks, and then like the less blocks, and then like the new stuff or whatnot that would have been from those ages.
Yeah, that's right, mate. That's exactly it. I believe the blocks that are sitting on top of the geopolymer were the actual geopolymer, but broken up and then made into molds, so they could reshape what goes on top of what they've cut down. That's what I reckon's happened. I don't reckon they were originally like fortifications for protection against cannons and stuff like that. Because when I was doing research before, there's a star city or star fort in India that's 4,000 years old. Now the cannon was invented in the 13 or 1400s. So you've got this bastion-looking thing that's 4,000 years old, but there's no cannons around.
There's an identical one also in Bahrain. They dug out another star fort, identical star fort in Bahrain in the Middle East there next to Saudi Arabia, UAE. That was also, I believe, 4,500 or even older than that they dated it to, right? So it's like,
because anything pre-1500 is against their narrative. They say it all started in the 1500s. That's when the first bastion forts were built by the Italians and French.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
And they're supposed to have only just done it until 1750, which is before Australia was discovered, apparently, and we've got star forts here. So that's another one, right? But definitely they're thousands of years beforehand, and that just destroys the narrative.
Well, we see this picture here that we're looking at.
It sounds much more like they just went around and popped them all off. Sorry.
That star fort on the left, these star forts are a lot older than mate. These star forts I say they predate Egyptian stuff, especially on the left-hand side. When you walk around there, like even the blocks that have blocked up the tunnels there, they are like ancient stones, you know. So these were blocked up a long time ago. And another thing about all these structures that you see, all around the outskirts of these are littered with entrances, as in dwellings, as in rooms. Like you walk in like a little corridor, and there'll be like 5 or 6 rooms in that dwelling.
Right, and so it makes me wonder that if all of these maps, the star fort maps, the star city maps, lots of them also seem like they have the I or the J in front of the 600 or 500 date, and that it's like, though that could literally be a millennium or a couple millennium, represent a couple millennium prior to the actual 15 or 1600s, and that these were pre the last reset or the last cataclysm sort of thing, and then just re-inhabited and developed since then.
Definitely, mate.
Yeah, well, there's so many problems with the dating systems and the different calendars and the whole 360 day to 365 day year, and how ancient cultures used to count in months, not years, and then some people interpret that as years, and that's how we get these, a king ruled for 50,000 years or something. Well, not that long, but so we've got so many problems with dating and the maps. I mean, and the main thing with maps is we've still got the wrong tropics on them. They're not even for this age or the last age, and so who knows where they came from, And we've got some that look like they are from the post or pre-flood world, and some that look like they're just post-flood, different sea levels to what we have. Well, apparently to what we have now. We don't actually know what the world looks like now, though, do we? I mean, that's really where we are. We can't confirm that any of this is more than just a drawing, really. Can we?
One thing I will say about these star forts in Malta or the star cities is they're actually designed to be on the sea level that's there now, if that makes sense.
So the bottom as well, like the bottom story.
Yeah, the base of these star forts are at sea level.
Okay, so we're talking post flood.
Or was there a flood?
Yeah. Good point.
Have you read the Aurolinda book before?
No.
The Aurolinda book. In there it says that they went around, and it doesn't call them Starforts, but it said they went around and built, you know, cities and fortifications everywhere back sort of, I think it was 2000 BC-ish.
Really?
So I'm sure that, you know, yeah.
I'm going to write that name down.
It's a really interesting book.
What's it called?
It gives the date of the book. Aurolinda. Got a pen?
Oh, I've got a bloody pen. Would you be able to text
one that talks about Friesland as well?
Yeah. Friesland. Yeah. So basically, it's the book of the Frieslandian people, and they came from that island, you know, that keeps popping up and disappearing, which is either Friesland or Frisia, and they say that it sank and they all took off, and now there's a part of where is it? Denmark in Scandinavia, which is Friesland.
Doggerland. Ah, Friesland. Yeah.
Friesland, yeah. So there's Friesland, there's PH, there's F, there's all that, and it's all different spellings. But it's all this, and they're all, you know, tall white dudes, and then we have all these stories of these tall white dudes coming and bringing civilization and stuff. So it's pretty interesting.
And then also that all of those maps that are like 500 plus years old, they seem to have these extra islands, these extra lands and whatnot in different areas. And also like the inhabitation of like the Siberian area, but also like the Sahara desert seemed like it had lush jungle and life and civilization there, which then does bring up the question, were these maps redated from not necessarily like 12,000 years, but maybe a couple thousand, that some other smaller cataclysm or just changes have happened, or wars, who knows what the heck, but at least like a minor to major reset since all of this civilization and world existed.
Yeah, spot on, mate.
Where do all these maps come from? I mean, it's interesting too that in the old maps, Iceland is called Island. Have you noticed that in the old maps?
No, that's quite interesting.
And it's always green, right? And it's called Island. And I often wonder, you know, like if civilization came out from the center, right, from Hyperborea, that may have been the first island that they hit, right? Now we have islands everywhere.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Well, yeah, I come across a map yesterday that someone sent me, and it's called the Pie map, the Pie grid map. Have you seen it? Or the Fire grid map?
I'm not sure if I have.
Is that the flat one with the flower of life?
No, it's basically, God, it is the most incredible map I've ever seen in my life, mate. And the guy was just showing me the part of it on Britain. And it was literally showing you on these lines that weren't ley lines, these are other lines, they're called fire lines. And they're just straight lines, and on all these lines was everything. So on all these lines, you had all the stone, like in straight lines going across the United Kingdom. You had stone circles, you had cathedrals, churches, and basically there's about 10 different things on this list, on these lines, and it was just straight lines going through the United Kingdom. I'll have to get hold of it, and I'll have to do a video on it, but I need to learn more on it. I just thought you guys might have heard of it. The Pie grid. Pie. P-H-I.
P-H-I?
Yeah.
Phi map?
It's called the Phi grid map.
Phi Greek map.
Grid. G-R-I-D.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry. Phi grid map. Well, Campbell looks that up. I will finally play a bit of your Malta.
Phi latitude. Is that?
I don't know if you're going to be able to find it. I was looking this one.
Sorry, I'm playing the clip here while Campbell looks for it.
In all the old world out there, I wasn't aware of Geopolymer, so I was calling everything rock cut. I kept the videos up because the footage is golden. It's like, it is exclusive footage, so I kept it up there. But what I've done is now I've took it down, and I've gone over the same footage again with the new brain. So this is that version with the new improved Paul Cook. So let's go. So what I want to point out now is this Starfort in the background is actually part of a place called Burgu, Kospica, the Three Cities. And it's here. right here, exactly where the yellow arrow is. That is exactly where I've dropped the pin, and that's exactly what I'm looking at right now. So the reason I'm showing you these is because these star faults or these cymatic patterns are riddled with apartments all on the outskirts of it. So if you follow the perimeter of all of these star faults in Malta, or star cities, they should be called star cities, they will have all these entrances. I'd say about 90% of them have been blocked up, that you can see. And the building has been, whatever that structure was, has been chopped down, and then they've used blocks and built on top of that. Look, here we go. So that was this little bit here, right? And another thing about my videos, I actually go inside these places and explore inside these old world apartments. And it's just like being in Turkey, or like in Cappadocia, or Iran, or Iraq, or anywhere. It's all the same. This old world geopolymer stuff is the same all around the world. So I'm just going to show you another point now. So that what I'm going to do in this video is walk around the outskirts of Valletta. But I'm just showing you another part of that star city, the same star city, just another segment. And you will see that it's this geopolymer limestone riddled with all these entrances. 90% of them are blocked up. But like I said, in this video, I'll go into 3 of them and show you what they look like inside. And I used to live in Floriana. This is how I know this area like the back of my hand. So we're going to explore this actual area here, and it's going to be the bottom part here, all right? So we're going to start here, and I'm going to walk all the way along to down here. And there is where I'm going to show you stuff that you wouldn't even see if it was on holiday. And now I've exposed it in England, like everything that's been blocked up and hidden. Like I'm going to show you these pictures now, stuff that I found in England. And it's identical to Malta. Like I keep saying this, it's identical worldwide. But we've just done a good job at blocking things up, or the military have, not us. Because I believe all this was blocked up in the early 1900s. But here we go. You can see sections. Now this is a tunnel. Look at this. Look at what tool would do this. To me, it seems like the material would have to be like a bit pasty to get these sort of imprints. Ignore that. Like I said, this is from the old footage. But you can see all scratch marks up here, and you can see that this has been poured in sections. So there would have been some wooden platform you could have walked up and you'd have been on another level. But if we scroll down, you can see not the ground level, but what we are calling now the new ground level.
I paused it there just to give a good reference of that's in Malta, and that's part of what would be the original structure then of the Starfort and the original walls, Paul?
Yeah, so basically the city is built on top of that, basically.
It's just so crazy and insane, and that you can literally see there's doors and entrances.
There's 5 levels,
right? Like it's a 5-story, like just rock building island city cave, like ridiculous. Just it's insane what is there and what it actually is. It blows my mind every time, and I just hope you don't get trapped in one of the tunnels on your way back. But luckily,
nah, definitely not, mate. Definitely not.
Be able to live stream it the whole way, right?
That's it. But the other thing, when I go back to Malta, Burn, I'm going to be so close
So this is the ditch.
Egypt, Libya. I can go to Sicily. I can go to everywhere from there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's so close.
See this bit here? Can I? What's happening?
Just an ad. Sorry.
Right, because there's something here that I missed, and I can show you guys now, which I thought was fascinating on that clip you're about to show.
Stupid ads. There we go. So I'll let it play with it muted so that we can talk over.
Yeah, pause it. Pause it. Can you pause it there?
Yep.
Right. Is that paused?
Yep.
Can you see the geopolymer, and then there's these squares that have been filled in with modern blocks?
So here or here, like.
So if you go down just above the wall, you got the limestone, and then you got the blocks in the middle. They blocked up these square entrances.
Oh, I see. Right here and here.
Yeah. I never noticed that before.
Yeah, like that's like a perfect garage entrance, like tunnel big enough for vehicles, sort of thing.
Yeah. But I never noticed them before. I just when I was going over my footage, I started noticing loads more stuff.
Right.
And hence that's why I need to go back out there, because I've got a new eyes, new brain, and I need to go and I'm gonna blow the internet up, mate.
So stoked you're going back, because like when we first talked a couple of years ago, you were like, there's no way I'm ever going back to Malta. Like you didn't think it was gonna happen. Now you've got it actually in the works. So like you know where you're gonna go and know what areas you want to check out and whatnot. It's just
even this picture here, BurnEye, yeah, you can see that it's been done in sections. These are megalithic blocks that have made this inside here.
Right, like
even the ceiling, you can see it's been done in sections,
which is just insane amount of construction. Then it means the whole 5 stories of solid rock material would have had to been built from the ground up, basically, when it was originally done.
Sometimes I think that they put blocks down and then they put the same material smeared on the outside of it to make it look like one thing. Sometimes I think that's what they do. I think there's multiple different techniques that they use.
Yeah, right. Like a fake facade on some of them.
Yeah, but it'd be the same material as the block, so it just looks like a straight wall.
Like, look at this.
I know. Look at that.
And that's just like one little tiny clip, and it's the entire, not just the main island, but then all the islands around it as well.
And